Okay, we're going to start with the nation. Tinubu orders action against killers of 16 officers and soldiers. Mass metering of army formations with 12.7 billion naira begins. Experts list ways to halt rising inflation. Why Oba Lekan Balogun is great in Olubadan history. Huge turnout in Lagos food market points. Union direct varsity workers to begin strike. And Lagos to revive bid for special status listing of LCDAs. Okay, which story?
So I have the mass metering. This one is good news. So the federal government has released part of the 14 billion marked for current for mass metering under this current administration. 12.7 billion has been released for the metering of the Nigerian Army formation nationwide, and it kicks off on the 9th. They kicked it off at the headquarters of the 9th Brigade in Ikeja here, and the Minister for Power was saying that it would be in phases, starting with the Ikeja cantonment, which is under the first phase, and at the event were plenty dignitaries and army officers, and they went on to say this was part of the 40 billion marked for that purpose. Also, the purpose of this metering, according to is what he said, the mass metering in army formations nationwide will enable us to know what is being consumed on a monthly basis in order to ensure appropriate billings and ease collections. And the overall intention is to eliminate and make estimated billings a thing of the past. So the people who suffered the most for estimated billing are the discos, because Nigerian Army, you cannot just come and bill them at the barracks. And so they had unpaid power consumptions over the years. I'm more than elated for this, because we've always thought, why is people are living there? It's a very, very populated place, but you don't see the army barracks, dealing with payment of this. So now with this more fully prepaid meters, you can have, be able to keep records of what is consumed and how it is used and all of that. I say kudos to the minister.
All right.
I have Nigeria's fiscal and monetary authorities need to reassess the strategy for combating the country's hyperinflationary trend to address fundamental causes of continuing increase in prices. So the National Bureau of Statistics at the weekend reported that inflation rate rose by 180 basis points from 29.90% in January this year to 31.70% in February. The finance and economy experts said there was need for reassessment of the balances between fiscal and monetary causes to improve the effectiveness of policy response to inflation management. Anyway, what the experts are really saying is that, yes, there are monetary policies that, that have been put in place to help with the inflation, but it is not enough. It needs to be balanced with some fiscal measures. They call it like a cocktail of measures to bring inflation under control. Especially, I got this, I would like to read this from the Managing Director of Center for Promotion of Private Enterprise, Mr. Muda Yusuf. He said that the key drivers of inflation include foreign exchange, global supply chain disruptions, national security concerns, disrupting agricultural output, high and increasing energy costs. And he's saying, to curb inflation, it would need government to address security concerns that's causing disruption in agricultural activities. So, yes, monetary policies are important, but there are some fiscal policies that need to be put in place to help, boost economic activities and slow down inflation.
Okay, so I have unions direct varsity workers to begin strike. It says the Senior Staff Association of Nigeria Universities and the Non-Academic Staff Union of Educational and Associated Institutions have directed their members to begin a 7-day warning strike today. It also says that the action was taken by the Joint Action Committee. And this statement was titled, "The Commencement of a 7-Day Warning Strike." And it's so unfortunate because the attention of this was brought to the Chief of Staff, of the President. And they were given ample time to sort these issues, to deliberate on these issues, to pay them their 4-month salary. The economy is really bad. Owing people 4 months salary, that's a lot.
Yeah.
How are they surviving? How are they managing? And so they decided to start the strike today. It's a 7-day strike.
Okay.
And I hope just
to give context to that. So it is, they had gone on strike one time for 8 months.
Yeah.
So they had paid ASU
some
from
part of it, yes. This is the one, what is left, yeah. But then, even if it's 1 month strike, if when you work, you should be paid. The economy is really
before your
hard.
sweat
You understand?
dries.
And then this also affects, the educational institution, especially for kids. The disruption is too much.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I just expect and believe the federal government should sort this out. So let's move on.
Okay, so many of us know that last Thursday, the Olu Ibadan, I think that's the story. Yes, Olubadan actually. Olubadan joined his ancestors last Thursday after 2 years on the throne. Many of you know there was a lot of controversy then during the time about 2 years ago. However, one of the things that made him stand out as Olubadan was the fact that he was probably the most educated ever in the history of that store, according to this report. Many of the Olubadans in the past, most of them were never lettered or only fairly lettered. But he had a doctor of philosophy, PhD, of Babalogun, therefore became the most educated monarch in the history of the city. He did not just acquire a PhD in public administration, he was also a lecturer at the Ahmadu Bello University before venturing into politics and business. So just to show that he was such a significant leader in that city, and he would definitely be sorely missed. Moving on now to the Punch. Soldiers killing. Tinubu Senate order manhunt for killers. Troops comb warring communities. FGI's $1 billion World Bank loans for IDPs and Agric. Strike. Sanu Nasu vow to ground varsities. Government finds ignorance. FG plans talks with Ghana, orders to protect undersea cables. Picture story here. Consumers lament POS machine shortage at Lagos discounted food market. Abducted editor's wife cries for help, says her husband easygoing. Textile imports, 7 others gulp 1.4 trillion naira after CBN ban lift. And Senate warns against supplementary budget excess loans. Let's take one story before we're going to break.
Okay, so in 2015, the CBN had categorized about 41 import items as not valid for Forex, which meant that importers of these commodities were forced to source Forex at black markets and, at, of course, higher rates, and that put pressure on the Naira. But then the bank has lifted this ban in, I think it was last October, the central bank lifted this ban, and it says that Nigerians spent 1.39 trillion on the importation of 7 out of the 43 items earlier restricted by central bank. And they said the imported goods was 4.29 trillion in 23, indicating an interest of 100%. 2.15 trillion from the total worth of 2.14 trillion commodities imported in 2022. Anyways, according to analysis, the Nigerian Foreign Trade Reports says items such as crude palm oil, vegetable products, animal products, meat, vegetable fats and oils, rubber, plastics and textiles were all imported from various countries. They see this, according to World Bank, they see that removing these import restrictions would lower prices of affected items by 4.7% and also lead to overall increase in purchasing power, which will in turn lift about 1.3 million people out of poverty. So the World Bank is saying it's a good thing to have lifted this ban and allow for the importation of these goods. And they think it will lift a lot of people out of poverty. I guess it will bring about jobs, but then we're talking about how we can also improve our own local production. So,
okay. Let's go on a short break now. We'll come back and continue with our review. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.